Welcome, everybody. Emily Morgan here with Delegate Solutions. Today we have one of my all-time favorite people, Paul Isenberg. Welcome, Paul.
Hey, Emily, how are you? Thanks for having me.
Yep. So Paul is a long-term client and friend of ours. He is the CEO and co-founder of Bringing Hope Home, which is a nonprofit that helps families who are dealing with cancer pay their bills. We've been part of their work for a number of years now. We've been, contributing, donating. I think this year we're sponsoring a family for the holidays. Um, but just a big supporter of what Paul does. He's here in Philadelphia. We're on the EO board together in Philly, and he's been a long-term client. So, did I miss
And friend,
anything? And
we
friend.
love you.
We love each other deeply. I am supposed to also say that he is the world's sexiest man,
Yes,
international man of mystery, and apparently wearing a very cool pair of pants that he
yes.
discovered
Yeah,
today.
take my word for that.
We'll
And we're
have
going
to
to
ask
laugh a
Mary.
lot, so let's have fun.
Yeah, so we are chatting about fundraising during a pandemic, and we also want to talk a little bit about our work together over the years. And why don't we start with just if you can kind of walk us through what brought you to Delegate, what problem were you trying to solve?
So, what brought us to Delegate was our mutual friend, I believe, Marcia O'Connor, initially. And I was on a webinar where I think you were one of the panelists, and I'm thinking, outsourcing your admin. That was really interesting to me at the time. We had hired a younger person from a non-office background to manage my calendar, which probably, like most people's, is ridiculously out of control. And after years and years of double booking myself and being overly optimistic of my ability to get from point A to point B in a quick amount of time, I bit the bullet. And when we first discussed it, I could candidly thought it was way overpriced. I
Okay,
really did. And then once I got into it, and you said to me, just do it for a couple months, and
trust the
if
process.
it's not a good fit, we'll figure it out. It is the best money, some of the best money we spend. I work with Erin, who I adore and love, and that woman has every bit of information about me. It's frightening. And I knew that we had a great working relationship where my wife finally said to me one day, "Will you just connect me to Erin?"
Uh-huh, exactly.
And Erin and my wife speak. Erin helps me with everything, almost literally everything. She manages my calendar, which I can't tell you the amount of. I guess the answer to your question is I looked at Delegate to help me free up my time to do what I'm most comfortable and valuable doing for the organization, which is representing it and raising money.
Hmm.
So, as you mentioned, we pay household necessity bills for local families with cancer. And if you get diagnosed with cancer, it's about 10 grand additional money out of your pocket as you're going through treatment, even with healthcare coverage.
Wow.
So we've grown the organization over the last 12 years. We're finishing our 12th year now from we started at about $125,000, helping 10 families too. Now we're about a 2.1, $2.2 million company, and we're going to help about 600 families.
Amazing.
And we've crossed over 6,600 families since we started. So there's a constant need, like most business people that run businesses like you. What's that constant need? You have to drive the organization and the revenue. And the best way that I can do that to take care of more families in a better way is to extract myself from a lot of the day-to-day stuff. But that's still important. Scheduling. Erin takes care of my travel. When I was traveling, she'd take care of my travel. She would take care of projects, and more importantly, hold me accountable to projects.
Yep.
And one of the as we began to work together, she's now at a point of such trust that I'll say to her, "Hey, here's something that I need to work on. Take a shot at it. Try to put together something on LinkedIn or try to put something together and then send it back to me and or edit this for me." And now she knows me enough that it just saves a ton of time.
Yep.
So did I answer your question? I kind of talked a lot. Sorry.
Perfectly. It's like the 80-20 rule. Like I use that all the time. So it's like, what can I have Georgia just even just starting something for me is enough. And then like start it for me and put a time block on my calendar for me to get that done, you know,
Yeah.
later in the week or something. So
And I know that I probably could utilize Erin better. Um, and I probably need to spend some time on that with her. And there's probably some time that we could use here at the company for other people. But until we get kind of back to normal, it's a little
yeah.
bit wonky still.
Well, let's talk about it. I mean, we're good friends, very transparent with each other. I
Yeah.
know when we were talking when COVID started, it was all about, you know, we have a certain runway and
Mhm.
yet you guys have managed to thrive through the pandemic with your fundraising. And you know, what tips do you have around that other nonprofits or people who are trying to raise funds could learn from? What have you learned?
Well, I think I've been really confirmed on my belief of how wonderful and generous our donors are. We affectionately refer to them as Hope Nation, and people like you, part of Hope Nation. Everybody from all of our vendors are willing to work with us, and our donors have stepped up. We will net probably a little bit more than we did last year,
Wow.
and we have been able to take in and help every single family nominated to us by their social workers during the year.
It's
The one
amazing.
thing that we learned, there was a couple of interesting things. The one thing I learned about fundraising is you have to work really hard to really know your fundraising flow. And one of the things that we did not think about is all of our families, no matter what type of person, man, woman, child, no matter what type of cancer, we want to help them. They have to be in active treatment. They have to be in our area, which is the 6 state area of Southern New York, Southern Connecticut, New Jersey, PA, Southeastern PA, probably a little bit of Pittsburgh, um, Delaware, and Maryland. And the one thing that we realized was we did not have a good communication strategy with all of our social workers in over the 100 hospitals we're in. And when this, March, April, May happened, some of our social workers got furloughed. So our
Mm,
funnel of families went down and we couldn't figure out why. And then
interesting.
we realized it and we were able to make a change and we changed that process a little bit. We do a lot of event fundraising, as you know, and several of them were in-house big dinner events, our fashion show, our
Mhm.
great guys dinner, and even our 5Ks, we put a virtual component on that. And the one thing that I realized, number one, was we should have a virtual component of almost every event we do going forward
Totally.
because we went from having a couple states represented by our attendees to like 12 or 17 states, realizing
Wow.
that it is truly Hope Nation. So we'll have a complete virtual piece and it can really reduce your expenditures.
Yeah.
Our expenses are way down, which is great. We've worked from home a lot more. I'm not a big fan of it. I'm in the office today.
You need to
Uh,
hug people, Paul. You must be really
I need
suffering.
to hug people. Yes, I do. But I don't. My home is my quiet place.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have
Yeah.
many quiet places.
Yep.
So I've learned that I need to be in the office. But having said that, we were pretty well set up to work from home. We were doing work from home 2 days a week anyway
Mm-hmm.
before this all happened. And we need to rely less on events as an organization and more on social media. Our social media electronics communication coordinator, Molly Callanan, did a great job in positioning us and making us look good. So there's a lot of things that I knew we did. I didn't realize how well some of the things we did are. And I think that it also drove home for me the importance of keeping an open line of communication to people, both as vendors and as donors,
Mm-hmm.
because you need to have those conversations with people about where you are and where they are and what they can do and what they can't do. So,
And I think you're skipping the part that you have an extremely loyal team that is like
oh,
all in. And to say that you not only hit the same thing you did last year, but you even mildly exceeded it, like that's a huge accomplishment. And
yeah,
I would
it
imagine it's
is
your
all my
team.
team. You're right. Much like your team, very, very quality people, high quality, high integrity, high drive. One of my team, John Farley, our director of development, he's in here today with me.
Yeah.
Like, for example, we had a donor today who lost a son years ago, and they do a big band dinner fun night every spring. And this year it didn't happen. But in our conversation, she goes, are you still helping people? And we said, yeah. She brought over a $5,000 check today. Just
Wow.
did. Just did. And when our director of family outreach, Amy Forkin, or Amy Seabold, and Judy Swall, when they call our social workers are telling us a different story from other charities. We can't believe you're still helping people. And as you know, we don't help patients, we help families.
Right.
And those families mean a lot to us. So my staff has done a phenomenal job of not only stopping, I hate the word pivot, but stopping and changing direction and doing things differently in a really efficient, better way in an upbeat fashion, all because we put our families first as best we can.
Yeah. And I mean, what I've seen at your events is they're there years later, like in gratitude, paying it forward. Like you're not just helping them one and you're stepping away. Like what I've seen is they're there championing the organization like over the long term.
Yeah, and our families tell the story better than anybody. You know, I lost my late wife to a long battle, so I know what my journey has been.
Mm-hmm.
But everybody's got a different journey. And when we started this in Nicole's name and her legacy, it was really important. And there's pictures of her here. And that's a great reminder and a great touchstone. It's also about the 6,600 families that we've helped.
Mm-hmm.
I want that to be about them, because we just don't help the one who's going through the illness. We help their husband, their wife, their brother and sister, their parents, their kids, and they mean something to us. They
Yeah.
really do. We can't help everybody we'd like. There's nobody that wants to help everybody more than us, but you do the best you can.
Well, you're building and leaving a legacy for you and Nicole and Miriam and the kids and and everybody, no doubt. But what I love about the way that you do it is you treat it like a business. You're not, you're a charity, but you come at it with a very strong business sense. Like we know each other because we both did Goldman Sachs. We're in EO.
Mm.
Like you treat it like a business and like entrepreneurial business. And I think that's also why you guys have been able to pivot and like modify what you're doing.
Well, the Goldman Sachs 10,000 small businesses was a real eye opener for me, because it showed me that, maybe it showed you, a lot of us got shown this, that we can actually be away from our businesses and learn how we've hired the right people so they can go run it. And that really was a huge breakthrough for me. And then the next logical step was Entrepreneurs Organization. And I have a real candid observation of my strengths and weaknesses. I try to be super self-aware, although my family would tell you I probably falter often. But I'm always trying to figure out, how can we scale? How can we be run better operationally? What can we do different? Outsourcing is a big part of that. We outsource our admin to you. We outsource our HR to O'Connor Group. Obviously, we have an outsourced controller. That's tremendous. We outsource technology. I want to outsource as much as possible and then retain that core team and have that core team focused on what they're doing to help families.
Yeah.
And with a constant eye on, how can we be more scalable? How can we be better? I'm reading books all the time. And it never ends, right? We wanted to be, I couldn't wait to get to 1 million. Then I couldn't wait to get to 2 million. Now I can't wait to get to 10 million. I don't want to get to 10 million. It'll be something else. So you kind of achieve a level, and then you have a whole new set of challenges that you got to, like, okay, well, let's figure this out. And I also have a phenomenal board of directors.
Mm-hmm.
One of the best things we ever did as an organization was go out and take the time and connect with a group of individuals as a true board of directors that give of their time, talent, and wealth, because they believe in what we do. We just gave 150 turkey dinners away with the Acme Markets Foundation,
Wow.
and Zach Ertz, the Julie Ertz Family Foundation. And it was cold. It was the Monday before Thanksgiving. It was super cold. We were out there from like 2 to 7. So it was cold and then dark and colder. And I got my team out there. We had volunteers from our school program, and we had one of my board members with his wife and daughter standing on the corner in Northeast Philadelphia, directing traffic on where to pick up your turkey.
Wow.
It was phenomenal. It was phenomenal.
Amazing.
So yeah, so we're very blessed. We really are.
Well, I mean, I want to restate it. You're an entrepreneurial CEO of a nonprofit, and that is really what I think has, and obviously you have a deep connection to the work that you're doing, but that to me is probably the single most reason that you've been able to get through the pandemic so well, I would think.
Thank you. Well, and we try to be, at least I do. I I want everyone to give an opinion. You know, we like one of our team announced to do design shirts and designed all this stuff, and we got a lot of value from that. We raised like 20 grand from that, and then
Wow.
we had our golf outing, which was really well attended at Philadelphia Cricket Club, the Divine Nine. But we weren't able to gather for dinner afterwards where we do a call to action. So one of our board members, Jeff Ditas, said, "Why don't we raffle off a couple golf outings, one to Marion, one to Philly Cricket?" And we raised another almost 19,000 from that.
Crazy.
So, you know, you got to get creative. You got to step out of your box a little bit, and you have to be able to ask your team and be comfortable with the feedback. It might not be what you want to hear all the time. In fact, it usually isn't what I want to hear.
Yeah, right.
It's, but it's valuable, and it makes us a better organization when we have different perspectives involved.
Yeah. So I hear you wrote a book.
I wrote a book, and
Can
I
you tell us
actually
about
bought it here. Lessons learned, um, a comprehensive strategy for building a passion-driven nonprofit. And I wrote this book um, with a ghostwriter because I wasn't able to do it myself. I tried for like 3 years to do it myself, but it basically is written because we've made so many mistakes, and we're almost here in spite of ourselves. And a lot of people were very good to me by taking a phone call and letting me ask questions. And I've noticed as we've grown, my ability and my time to take those phone calls has dropped dramatically. So these books are written in, here's a particular topic, like how to build a board. Here's why it's important. Here's how we screwed it up. Here's how we fixed it. And this is the way
Amazing.
to do it better. So it's really designed to help people. It's on Amazon, and it's designed to help people get the benefit of all our screw ups and save themselves some time and money and aggravation because it was all brand new to us.
hmm
So,
That's a great. I love it. So we're sending an e-blast out this week promoting Bringing Hope Home. So
oh, thank you.
we'll include a link to that. We'll
Oh, thanks.
include a link to it in the show notes on our website. And I know we're sponsoring a family. Like, what can people do right now to support your charity?
So people can go to bringinghopehome.org, bringing hope home, all one word, no punctuation.org. And right on there, they can click on and they can register to pay a family's bills. I think all of our families have now been taken care of.
Amazing.
We It's amazing. We have done usually, as you know, Emily, you sign up, you get a family story, you get a Christmas list, you go and buy the presents, wrap the presents, and deliver the presents to that family.
Yeah.
This year, because of everything that's going on, our legal and medical team has said, don't do any of that. So what we're doing is we took in the donation cash wise. You got a family story.
hmm
You then took in a donation cash wise, and we went and bought gift certificates at the stores that the family wanted, sent them to the families electronically so they can order their own presents.
Oh,
But you're
perfect.
still going to get a story. And right now, what's available is the families can pay household necessity bills, or the donors can pay household necessity bills for these families. And we focus on rent, mortgage, utility, car payment, and food, so the family can be in their house, keep the heat on, keep food on the table, and keep getting better. So it's exciting. It's gratifying to watch. And I just got off the phone with our controller, and I said, "Hey, I saw you were in the office on Sunday." She goes, "Yeah, we're getting so many donations. So many people are responding to helping these families that I took about 10 hours just entering in all the donations." So
That's
there's so
incredible.
many great people out there that are taking care of so many great families like you. So thank you.
Well, you want to do what you can to help others. I think I feel blessed in this moment, personally and professionally. Like, what's the gratitude focus of this time? And being able to live that out by doing something actionable, I think makes the person doing it feel good too. So,
Yeah, and compassion is a beautiful thing when exercised.
mhm.
And what we've always discussed amongst ourselves here at Bringing Hope Home is how do we make it easy for people to get connected to us and give? Do they want to give? We have one donor who not all he does, what he does is he takes care of our Salesforce database at no charge.
Mhm.
That is a $20,000-$30,000
Yep.
give back.
Yep.
The guy who owns a storage facility that we keep a lot of our stuff, he's like, you know what? My give back is you guys are just taking it rent free.
Nice.
It's amazing. And you know what's crazy, Emily? Is very rarely do we ask people for it. They just come to us and say, I love what you do. I had this happen in my family and I want to give back. How can I give back? I'm like, well, how do you want to give back?
You make it easy. That's the
Yeah,
key.
how do you want to give back? Because think about all the thousands and thousands of wonderful charities out there. And we're all doing good work and we're all working every day. But as a nonprofit, we're a business, like you said, we just measure our profit differently.
Mhm.
How many families did we help? How much did we raise? What was the satisfaction rate of those families? Where can we get better? Are we a good partner? Are we a good partner to people like you? Do we refer you out, which I try to? Do we have conversations and see where we can help? That's important.
Yep.
So we're just trying to do the right thing as best we can.
Well, you're doing a great job of it.
Thank you.
In
And thanks for
case
having me. This has
in,
been great.
in case you don't hear that enough.
I don't, but I appreciate it. You write me a note for my wife, I'll just give it to her and
I
say,
love
Emily
your
said I'm
wife.
doing a good job.
Your wife is one of the best parts about you.
No, that is and the other best parts are my kids. I am completely fine in that department.
Yeah.
I'm completely fine. So
And is she still speaking? Like, can we plug her up for a second?
yeah, so my wife Miriam, after Nicole passed in August of '03, Miriam and I got married about 18 months after that. We met and got married. She's a widow. She has two kids. Her husband Michael was first officer on Flight 75 in the tower on 9/11. He was a teammate of mine at Westchester, not a close friend because he was older, but a really wonderful guy. And we combined our families New Year's Eve of '04. So we have four kids, and Miriam speaks on letting go of resentment and anger, and talks about how she worked really hard and what worked for her to shed a lot of the challenges and negativity that attack brought to her family personally, and to be open to love and to build a family again with us. And most of the time, she's not angry with me. Sometimes she is, but we've been married now 16 years, and I've had the great blessing and grace to be married to two wonderful women who are way outside my league. But Miriam will speak to corporations and and groups about letting go of that resentment, and she has 5 pillars that she does that with, and I'm trying to get her to write a book.
Well, your event on City Line right before COVID really took hold was the last event I went to. I remember
the last event we had in person.
Yeah, I remember giving you a big hug, and we were still like shaking hands. And Miriam spoke, and we were sobbing, and it was like an absolutely beautiful, beautiful share that she gave. So
yeah, she's really impressive. We do a great gals brunch. We're moving that to September this year. We're trying to move all of our events to warmer months with an outdoor venue.
Nice.
Yeah, so I think 10 companies will be the big investment play in the future.
And outdoor heaters.
Outdoor heaters. I was at a local restaurant who has about 12 spots, and he has an outdoor presence at all the spots. And one morning I was out. It was in September, so it was still kind of warm. And he was setting up, and he's like, "I'll give you a tip: propane," because he had about 12 heaters out there, and he was trying to figure it out.
That's a good one.
Yeah. So
propane and cardboard, I think, because of all the shipping.
Oh my God, it's crazy, isn't it?
So bad. Anyway, it's been an honor to sit with you for 29 minutes, so thank you.
It's been 29 minutes already?
25, actually, sorry.
Wow.
25
Time goes fast. And I can't believe we've been working together for years.
So many years.
Doesn't feel like that. I feel like I've known you forever in a good way.
And I'm always so happy when I get to see you or talk to you. So thank
I
you
feel
for
the
that.
same. I always leave feeling better about my life after talking to you
I don't know if I take that the right way.
because you're such a good influence on me.
Well, I adore you and keep up the great work and hi to the
Thank you.
family. And
Well, Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays to you and everybody out there and everybody at Delegate Solutions. And thanks for being such a wonderful partner of ours.
and bringinghopehome.org if anyone
Correct.
wants to get involved. All right. Thanks, Paul.
Thanks, Emily.
See ya.
Bye.